What's up everybody, welcome back to AZ Trading. Hope you're enjoying your weekend, and in this video I'll be showing you guys how we managed to capture over 160 points on the NASDAQ. Once again, you guys already know, these videos aren't about trying to pretend that we saw this trade with no proof. We in fact have the executions to back it up. So over here you can see that I took a trade right on this candle, not the one to the left, not the one to the right, but the candle with the lowest possible entry. Next we have a partial that was taken over here, a further one over here, and our final partial over here. I can turn on the labels for you as well. Alright, now with that out the way, let's get into how we managed to capture this trade. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know the framework we use to trade is the RMR pattern, which includes a raid, then a market structure shift, and afterwards a return area where we participate. And all the elements needed for the trade I've labeled down below here. So if you'd like to pause the video and find where all of these elements rest in the chart here, feel free to do so and I'll outline them shortly. So the first thing we look for is the raid. So over here, right below this swing low, as soon as it broke through this, we call that a raid. And not only did it raid the swing low, but as it did so, it managed to fill this gap here. The second thing we look for is the market structure shift. So after this bearish raid, we look for bullish structure shift. So as it starts breaking swing highs, such as this swing high here and this swing high up here, we call that a market structure shift. And you already know what people are thinking as it's shifting with such decisive bullishness. People are placing long trades here, people are placing long trades here. Someone's probably placed a long trade up here, but we see this as chasing price, and we don't want to do that, not only because our stop loss will be too large, but the price is not right. We could be getting a much better price, which is why we wait for the return. Most of the time we can use a gap. So right here, during the market structure shift, it printed a gap, so we can wait for price to retrace into that area, and once it reaches this area, now we're able to place a long. Another entry method you can use instead of a return gap is a return order block. So in this case, during the shift, we had a order block that was printed here. As price retraced into that area, we're also able to place a long there. And finally, another method you could use is a Fibonacci. So if we draw an anchor point from the bottom of the raid to the top of the shift and extend that out, anywhere below this 50% line would be a fair price to long as well. So our entry in this case, we managed to get our position right there. And once you place that position, you can never forget about your stop loss, which in this case is at the bottom of the raid right here. And finally, now we can start looking for some objectives. So the objectives I take are at different gaps and different swing highs. So if we look over here, there's a gap that has not been filled yet. Once it reached that gap, we took off a partial. The next swing high is right here, and as it reached that, we took off our second partial. And our final partial over here, you might be wondering, what did it reach for us to take off a partial there? Well, let's zoom out into the 4-hour chart, and you can see there's a swing high right over here, right at the peak. That swing high reaches right there, and that right there is our final partial. You might be starting to see a pattern with my videos where things seem to be quite repetitive. But isn't that essentially the point? The thing is, we want to see these patterns and signatures in price repeat, so we can develop the muscle memory to identify them as they happen live. There's this quote that I really like, and it says, "History doesn't repeat, it rhymes." Much like how no RMR setup is the same, but they all have similarities. Sometimes when you don't know what you're looking for, price can look very messy, you can have no idea what you're looking for, but when you know what to look for, things start to clear up real quick. That'll be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, it means a lot. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And as always, take care guys. Peace.